Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I am going to be talking you through this sketchbook that I took on holiday with me recently. I am very lucky and very grateful to be able to go on holiday, at least in my state where I live. I live in New South Wales in Australia, and we are currently allowed to go traveling within the state. So in this video, using the magic of editing, I'm going to be flicking through the sketchbook and then I will cut to some footage that I actually took while I was sketching and just show you what I get up to when I'm sketching on holiday. This was the very first sketch that I completed on my holiday. It was in Tomorrowy Beach in Port Stephens. I definitely had a bit of a challenge trying to record this one. I was holding my phone while also holding the water pot and then trying to balance my paints and also my sketchbook, and also I had my dog attached on a lead to my leg because I was by myself at this point. So it was definitely interesting, but that's one of the things that I love about urban sketching is you kind of don't have much chance to think too hard about the painting, and I often find that results in better paintings because you're not overthinking it, you're not overworking it, and you're just doing what you can do, especially when there's a lot of wind or it's cold or even might be starting to rain a little bit. You really don't have a chance to overwork it. And this is the final result with this one, and I really liked it, and I think Winnie liked it too. So the next page is some sketches that I completed in the Airbnb that we were staying at. It was a pet-friendly Airbnb, so I just spent a bit of time doing some observational sketches around the house, and that was quite fun. And this is the next sketch. So this was completed on the Tomorrowy Headwalk, which is quite a famous walk around Port Stephens, where basically you go up a really steep hill and the view at the top is amazing. This view is actually halfway up, so we found a little place that we could sit down that was quite secluded, so I could just sit down and do my first sketch of the day here. I always find that whenever I'm painting sea in a sketch, especially when I'm doing it outside, I never go dark enough on the first wash. And with things like sky and sea, I really like to try and get that value right on the first wash, but it's definitely something that I'm going to need to work on. Another challenge if you're painting on a time limit, and for this one I gave myself a 15-minute time limit, so I really was doing this pretty quickly, is it's quite difficult to stop all the different areas of the painting bleeding. So you'll see that around the mountain and a few different areas of this painting started to bleed a little bit. I don't necessarily mind that. In many places I actually like that effect, but it can just be a little bit tricky to control where the paint is going. But it was quite a sunny day, so it was drying pretty quickly. I wanted to make this area of trees quite dark in value because I wanted to contrast it with the lighter mountains, and I really just went quite abstract with it. I didn't add too many specific details. As I said, I was only on a 15-minute time limit, so I had to get those trees in pretty quickly, but I mainly focused on the colour and making sure that I had varied brush strokes as well to just add a bit more interest. And you can see it's kind of bleeding into the sea a little bit, but I actually quite like that effect. And then I'm just going in with some darker values for the bottom of the mountain, which is in the distance, which I think helped. At the time I felt like it was too dark of a value, but in the end I think it actually might have even needed a bit more, especially at the end when I always take a photo and compare it to the actual thing that I was sketching. I can always see that the value is just a little bit too light most of the time. But that's the thing with watercolour, is with watercolour it always dries lighter, so you always have to go a little bit darker than you think. And then I think I was trying to make it dry faster, so I held it up, but then it all started leaking down, so then I really had to fix that with some kitchen towel because that would not have looked good. Then finally, just to replicate the water crashing against the rocks, I just added some gouache, and here's the final result. And then I went up to the top. It was a very, very sweaty walk. It was a quick walk, but it's very steep. As you can see, it's really high up. So I actually didn't manage to get much footage up here. I did get a shot of this goanna, which we saw. It was pretty creepy. It was just like walking around up there. And yeah, this is the final sketch. As I said, I didn't get a chance to actually film me painting it because I was just a bit distracted by the goanna and being really sweaty. So this sketch was done, I think it was the next day, and I just found a spot where I could sit down with a table and it was in the shade. One of the things I find with urban sketching is you're always having to compromise between having a comfy seat somewhere that's in the shade and having actually something good to draw. So in this case, I think I went slightly too far towards the comfy seat because I ended up painting the toilet block that was in the scene. I think if I did that again, I probably would have just left that out. But I did really like this tree that was in the center of the sketch. So I mainly focused on that and just getting the shadows and the play of shadows and lights right. As I said, I kind of don't really like the toilet block section, but whatever, no one needs to know that it's a toilet block. It could just be a random hut. And this was a sketch done of the garden of our Airbnb. I wasn't that happy with it, but I kind of just wanted to record what the backyard looked like, so I'm kind of glad I did that anyway. And finally, this was one of my favourite locations. It was in a place called Harbour in Port Stephens, and we just found this really nice little area, and I just sat on a rock that was kind of shaped like a chair. It was comfy for the first 5 minutes, and then it definitely wasn't towards the end. Again, I would have liked to add some more dark values to this, but yeah, that always happens to me when I'm sketching outside, and I feel like touching it up afterwards is almost cheating somehow. Let me know if you agree with that, or if you think I should just touch some of these up afterwards. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging around to the end. I've just hit 500 subscribers on this channel, so even though I'm still a very small channel, I'm very excited to see more of you following along and seeing what I've been getting up to with my sketching. I post new videos every Sunday, so if you like this one, then make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss my next one. That's all for this video. I'll see you next week.